Thank you for watching NMH at 1, where we take a look at the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. In the news today, almost 80% of the education budget is spent on salaries. City handpicks rookie firm for $200 million Namibian tender. NIPDB says that the hydrogen deal was carefully renovated. I am Diana Master and we will be right back with our midday news update. The 2023 Old Mutual Namibia internship welcomed its intake today, many of whom had already begun 2 months earlier at the Mutual Tower in Windhoek. This is an initiative by Old Mutual Namibia to help reduce Namibia's exorbitantly high unemployment rates. These recent graduates from various institutes of higher learning will embark on a 6-month internship that will provide them with financial experience and expertise that will enable them to reach greater heights. Remember to engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break. Starting off our visual news this afternoon, Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, Emma Kantema Gaumas, this morning received equipment for skills building to the value of $308,000 Namibian from the United States Agency for International Development. The equipment includes agricultural material that youth in rural Namibia especially can utilize on projects identified by the ministry. Elizabeth Joseph reports.
Children who are empowered, who are educated, and ready to shape our future. We are witnessing a historic partnership between the Ministry of Sport with the National Service and Project Hope Namibia through USAID. As the director was alluding to the agreement that we signed, it took me back to 2020 when we were still working towards the agreement. So it was a lot of work that went in there. It took a lot of courage in identifying the needs that we need for our young people. But as a ministry that's entrusted with that mandate, ours is always to seek ways, how do we empower the youth? And I'm very happy that Ms. DeMarco, in your remarks, you alluded to, you told us what dreams stand for and the regions that dreams focus on. And also that why we are empowering the young adolescent women, because they are they are affected differently. But I think I want to call at this point that it's also time that we should see how do we bring in the boy child, because we are experiencing that the boy child has been lagging behind. So we perhaps have to relook at the ways how we are offering our service.
The Maritime Cleanup campaign took place yesterday morning at Independence Beach in Walvis Bay. The cleanup highlights the significance of the theme, preserving a healthy ocean ecosystem for a resilient economy, which underscores the importance of maintaining a balance between deriving economic benefits from the ocean and preserving the ocean ecosystem in a sustainable manner. According to the Mayor of Walvis Bay, Trevino Forbes, the cleanup event forms part of the activities lined up for the Maritime Festival, which celebrates the contribution the blue economy makes to Walvis Bay's Bay's economic growth and development. Nikano Nangolo reports.
Today is the first day of our cleanup campaign for the Walvis Bay Maritime Festival. So this is part of the festival. The cleanup will form part of the event leading up to the festival. Tomorrow the festival will start with all different kinds of events. As you can see, we have various industries taking part in the cleanup. Also, we have schools and members of the municipality taking part in this cleanup. Like I told the group, that we should not make this just this kind of event must be happening more frequently. So, I want to see beach cleanups made from the municipality side, also town cleanups from the municipality side, initiated by the municipality for the community more frequently. If you can do it once every 2 months at least, or once every month, that will be wonderful. So I would like to invite all residents of Walvis Bay, residents of the Irongo region, Namibia at large, please do come and join us for the Maritime Festival that will be taking place tomorrow and Saturday. We have various activities, and this is this opportunity for SMEs to meet the bigger industries. Make your products, make your services, make it known to the industry at large, so that everybody can make use of each other. The Walvis Bay is a community, and we want everybody to make use of the services provided, especially by the SMEs. Buy your stalls, make yourself known, and partake in the event.
After being cleared by the ACC, the oil company boss must jump through more hoops before he can return to office. An update on the story follows in the newspaper review segment after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. The Namibian Sun's front page reports that a disciplinary hearing is looming for National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia Managing Director Emmanuel Mulunga, just weeks after the Anti-Corruption Commission cleared him in a matter regarding payment of 100 million Namibian dollars for 2 oil blocks in Angola. Mulunga confirmed that he is set for a disciplinary hearing later this month, but his employer remains tight-lipped on the matter. According to NAMCOR spokesperson Paulo Coelho, while they understand the importance of transparency, they must also respect the integrity of the ongoing independent investigation, and as such, they are currently unable to provide specific comments on the matter. On page 3, the Namibia Investment and Promotion Development Board says due care was exercised by the government to negotiate a sound deal with green hydrogen firm Hydrogen Energy. Under the terms of the agreement, offered to sell the Namibian government a 24% stake in the development of the $10 billion project. NIPDB CEO Nangula Uwanja said on the sidelines of the launch of the oil and gas conference scheduled for later this year that the government has engaged the Office of the Attorney General and even international lawyers, and believes that the Namibian people who were in that negotiation room have considered various aspects and gave the best that they could given the advice that they were getting. Republican informs that in a letter to the Supreme Court in India, 4 South African veterinary experts expressed their concerns about the current management of the relocation project of leopards to the Kuno National Park and accused the project's management committee of ignoring experts' opinions. This is after another cheetah from Southern Africa that was resettled in the park died. Namibia and South Africa form part of Project Cheetah. The female Datri is already the 9th cheetah out of 20 from South Africa and Namibia to die within months. On page 3, Zhongmei Engineering Group, which was recently accused of tax evasion by the Namibia Revenue Agency, has emerged as the winner of a tender to upgrade the road between Usakos and Karibib in the Irongo region, worth over 340 million Namibian dollars. NAMRA last month shook the Chinese-owned company by abruptly deducting 33 million Namibian dollars from its bank account in lieu of outstanding taxes. The company has dragged the revenue agency to court, seeking a reversal of the transaction. Zhongmei formed part of 7 companies, all Chinese, who were shortlisted for that road project, and it has now emerged as the winner, according to the document seen by the Namibian Sun. On its front page, the Allgemeine Zeitung reports that after their water tariff was increased by 50% at very short notice, Tsumeb residents are complaining about the actions of the city council. They were not given any early warning of the tariff change. One resident who wishes to remain anonymous told a sister newspaper Republican that she was the most outraged that residents had not received prior notice. The public was not consulted and many people cannot afford a sudden 50% increase. On its page 3, Allgemeine Zeitung is attending to the cheetahs sent over to India. Meanwhile, the number of dead African cheetahs in India amounts to 9. Wildlife veterinarians involved have now turned to India's Supreme Court and strongly criticized the project management in India. Amid growing criticism of the project, 4 South African wildlife veterinarians assigned to Project Cheetah have approached the Supreme Court of India, expressing their utmost concern about the project's management. That brings us to the end of the first half of our newspaper review segment. We get into the second half, starting with what leads on the Namibian newspaper front page. Continuing right along with our newspaper review segment, the Namibian newspaper reports that the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture will be spending about 16.2 billion Namibian dollars on operational expenses for the 2023-2024 financial year, out of about 16.2 billion Namibian dollars allocated to the ministry through the national budget. Minister of Education, Arts and Culture, Anangi Pondoka, says 79.7% of this amount is spent on paying staff members' salaries, leaving only 20% for school grants, textbooks, stationery and infrastructure development. On page 3, the Zambezi Regional Health Directorate revealed that they are always running out of medicine to effectively treat patients as a result of the Central Medical Store failing to supply them sufficiently. This was revealed during a meeting between the Regional Health Management and the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Health, Social Welfare and Labour Affairs on Wednesday at Katima Mulilo District Hospital. The committee embarked on an oversight visit to the Zambezi region to assess the state of the health facilities and the challenges they face in providing quality health services to the citizens. Katima Mulilo District Hospital senior pharmacist Muhloro Dziva told the committee the Central Medical Store's failure to meet their demand is one of the biggest challenges. He said this was evident in the stock they received last week because they did not receive everything. Moving over on New Era's front page, the country's anti-graft agency has been alerted about potential corruption in the awarding of a tender by the city of Windhoek that could cost residents over 200 million Namibian dollars. Procurement procedures involving big sums were allegedly disregarded. This is after the city allegedly swallowed a proposal by a local company, Pulsar Electronic Solutions, to pilot and roll out wireless smart electricity meters, hook, line and sinker, without opening the tender to the public. This has caused a huge uproar in the municipality and the senior managers at each other's throats. On the paper's page 3, a young woman from northern Namibia who allegedly killed her newborn baby and threw the body into a well in December 2020 was on Tuesday directed to answer to the charges by Oshakati High Court Judge Johanna Salionga. Loide Nduyapunye Nafika applied through her legal aid lawyer Pombili Shipila for the charges against her to be dismissed at the end of the state's case. She is facing a charge of murder read with the provisions of the Combating of the Domestic Violence Act, a charge of defeating or obstructing the course of justice for disposing of the body, and a charge of polluting a water source for throwing the body into a water well that is used by the inhabitants of Ngango village where she resided. Moving right along, MarketWatch reports that the increase in the stock of international reserves from 49.6 billion Namibian dollars in May to 52.9 billion Namibian dollars in June is sufficient to cover imports for 5.5 months. The Bank of Namibia has said the rise was on account of diamond sales proceeds, customer foreign currency placements, as well as net commercial bank inflows as a result of portfolio investment inflows, the central bank pointed out. According to the Namibia Statistics Agency, Namibia's import bill averaged 10.5 billion Namibian dollars in the first half of 2023. In June, the value of imports stood at 10.1 billion Namibian dollars compared to 12 billion Namibian dollars recorded in the previous months. After the break, we dive into our economic news. Stay tuned.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
In today's economic news, JSE-listed financial services group OUTsurance said that earnings for its year to the end of June could climb 45%, with the profits in its Australian operation more than tripling as it bounces back from earthquakes, floods and hail in the previous year. Group normalized earnings are expected to rise between 35% and 45% from the prior year's roughly 2.3 billion rand, the company said in an update. Its short-term SA operations could rise as much as 10%, while its Australian business, UE, could see a surge of as much as 250%. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators, also proudly brought to you by Bank Vintage. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.70 to the British pound, while 18 Namibian dollars and 70 cents can buy you $1, and for 2 Namibian dollars and 60 cents, you can get 1 Chinese yuan. All of these selected NSX stock closing prices maintained. Local index maintained, while overall index took a dip of 2.92%. Most commodities, gold and platinum, took a dip, while copper and Brent crude oil took an upturn of 0.31% and 0.61% respectively. Niger's military ruler warns against foreign meddling. We get into an update of the full story after the break as we head into African news.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 115.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1, and later on we bring you international news from the rest of the globe. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Thursday inaugurated a Chinese-funded power station that he said would go a long way in easing power shortages ahead of national elections. Mnangagwa, who is seeking a second presidential term on August 23rd, has been on a ribbon-cutting spree as he attempts to portray himself as a go-getter and reassure voters about the state of the economy. He opened a coal mine on Wednesday and a clinic on Wednesday before heading to the northwestern town of Hwange to officially launch the 600-megawatt coal-fired power plant on Thursday. Analysts expect a tense vote later this month amid a crackdown on the opposition and a disaffected population battling hyperinflation, poverty and high unemployment. Addressing supporters at a local stadium after the opening, Mnangagwa said the new plant would be a critical enabler of development, adding that Zimbabwe was open for business. The landlocked Southern African country has for years been reeling under severe power shortages that at their worst late last year left millions of people in the dark for up to 19 hours a day. The government declared a sudden end to blackouts in July, although most people still experience daily outages lasting a couple of hours. Stick around, we'll be right back with international news. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Washington, D.C. court to conspiring to overturn his 2020 election defeat. During a short arraignment, he spoke softly to confirm his not guilty plea, name and age, and that he was not under the influence of any substances. He later told reporters the case was persecution of a political opponent. It marks the former president's third appearance in 4 months as a criminal defendant. Trump entered through a back door of the courthouse on Thursday afternoon in the center of the nation's capital, just yards from the scene of the U.S. Capitol riot that is central to the prosecution's case. About 1,000 defendants charged with participating in the storming of Congress on the 6th of January 2021 have appeared in the same court building. The former president seemed to exchange glances across the court with Jack Smith, the special counsel leading the investigation. Trump was seen twiddling his thumbs as he sat waiting for the hearing to begin, and he shook his head as the clerk read out the case number. The judge told the former president not to communicate the facts of the case. She warned him that failure to comply could result in an arrest warrant, revoked release conditions, and contempt of court charges. Prosecutors told the hearing the case would benefit from a speedy trial. Stick around after the break, we give you local sports news. Pro-Ed Academy will host Walvis Bay Private School for the annual Inter-High School Sports Day at the Pro-Ed Sport Park in Swakopmund. Athletes from the two schools will participate in 5 different sports codes. According to Botswana journalist Solomon Kakua, Marcel Papama's contract with Jwaneng Galaxy FC expired in June, and both parties have been negotiating terms since after the COSAFA Cup, although it is still unclear whether the player would return or not. Closing off our local sports news, the PST Bet Omusati Governors Cup 2023 at Olufuko Cultural Center is underway as we speak. The event will take place from the 3rd to the 6th of August 2023, involving sports codes such as netball, soccer, volleyball, athletics, and boxing. That brings us to the end of local sports news, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly with international sports news.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 150.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Starting off our international sports news this afternoon, Mikel Arteta has challenged big spending Arsenal to deliver a statement of intent ahead of the Premier League season when they face treble winners Manchester City in the Community Shield on Sunday. There are no surprises among the teams who will contest the semi-finals at the Netball World Cup 2023 in Cape Town, with the top 4 on the latest world rankings all advancing in the competition. England will take on defending champions New Zealand, and Australia will face Jamaica on Saturday. And closing off sports stories, intervention by the match officials has saved Argentinian fullback Juan Cruz Malia from missing the Rugby World Cup after he was handed a 2-week ban for the late charge down that knocked out Springbok scrum half Grant Williams. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this.
Hello NMH at 1 viewers, my name is Michael Kayunde. I'm back on your TV screens for the Weekend Gig Guide segment. This is the segment where I get to let you guys know what are things that are taking place in and around the country for the weekend. To start with, you can catch that is Chill Sessions tonight on Namibian Sun's Facebook page at 1900 hours, and you can also catch a repeat of the show that is tomorrow on NTV at 7:30 in the morning. Moving along with other events you can expect this weekend, if you happen to be headed to Oranjemund, you can catch that is the Oranjemund Diamond Festival taking place today at the rugby field. You can catch performances by Tate Buti, DJ Vuyo, Yiza, and so many more. That is if you happen to find yourself in Oranjemund. Back in Windhoek, you can catch that is Elia Da Vinci alongside MG performing tonight at Club Jokers. That is what's happening in Windhoek. Moving along with other events you can still expect to catch this weekend. Tomorrow, that is Saturday, you can expect to catch Open Season, the Retro Bowl edition taking place at Namibian Sun offices. From 1 until 9 p.m. you can expect performances or DJ sets rather by Dreas, Sedated, YD Fresh, as well as Silas the Dandy. Tickets are available through my e-ticket for $80, or you can pay $100 at the gate. Those are some of the events that are taking place this weekend. Please go out there and support them and have fun responsibly. From me, Michael, until next time, it's bye-bye.
And now for the news highlights. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Thursday inaugurated a Chinese-funded power station that he said would go a long way in easing power shortages ahead of national elections. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Washington, D.C. court to conspiring to overturn his 2020 election defeat. During a short arraignment, he spoke softly to confirm his not guilty plea, name and age, and that he was not under the influence of any substances. In some sports, according to Botswana journalist Solomon Kahua, Marcel Papama's contract with Johannesburg Galaxy FC expired in June, and both parties have been negotiating terms since after the COSAFA Cup, although it is still unclear whether